water birth, infertility. Herbs are still drugs. I was crowned Miss Philippines Earth Air. They think I'm a witch doctor. How do I manage? My mom was the one who really got me into nutrition and wellness. So what brought me to that point was my infertility. When I healed myself, I had this longing to heal my clients. It actually took me a few years to get into herbalism because herbalism is really more of a technical study. I really wanted to study clinical herbalism, so I wanted to know herbs on a medicinal level. My mom was the one who really got me into nutrition and wellness. She came from the province in the Philippines. She wasn't very much into these TV dinners or processed foods. Every morning we woke up, there was always a fresh home-cooked meal. We also had a really abundant garden in our backyard. So what brought me to that point was my infertility. I suffered with infertility after having my son. We tried and tried for a second child, and infertility by definition is trying to conceive for a year and failing to do so. We were trying for about a year and a half, and I just thought something was wrong. My periods or my menses are always regular. I've been really healthy. I eat very well. And I was just wondering what might be going on with my body. So I went in and found out that I had endometriosis. I had a cyst the size of a grapefruit within my uterus, and I had possible damage to my reproductive system due to the endometriosis. And so I had a surgery to remove the cyst. While they were in there, they checked my fallopian tubes, they checked my ovaries, they tried to save my ovaries from the cyst that kind of just attached itself to it. And they were able to save my ovaries. The only problem was that one of my fallopian tubes was completely blocked, which made my chances of conceiving 50% less than what it would be. It was really devastating because up until this time, I've been watching my nutrition. I studied nutrition. I was coaching clients in nutrition, and I just felt like such a failure. And so I took matters into my own hand, and I decided, you know what? There must be something more that's available in the natural world that I can do to help heal my body. And other than nutrition, I started looking into herbs. It was really interesting. I did my first herbal protocol on myself that lasted 30 days. And I had a whole thing planned, and from teas to castor oil packs, topical oils, aromatherapy, exercise, but it was really mostly centered around herbal medicine and herbs as medicine. I had my surgery in April of 2018. And in May of 2018, a month later, I was pregnant with my daughter, and the OB had me check in the ultrasound which fallopian tube the egg had come from. And surprisingly, the egg had come from the fallopian tube that was previously blocked. So that is kind of where my motivation came to pursue and just become more knowledgeable in medicinal herbs. When I healed myself, I had this longing to heal my clients. So I have clients who have infertility, who have reproductive issues, and with nutrition, we can do so much. But with herbs, on top of that, herbal medicine, we can do so much more, and it's so much more effective. The minute they hear I'm an herbalist, they think I'm a witch doctor. Alvolario, I can't say it properly. Herbs are still drugs. Herbalism has gone through years and years of suppression by allopathic doctors. By definition, an herb is basically a botanical plant that has some sort of medicinal effect on the body. Herbalists are able to help you manage and just maintain a better quality of life with herbs. The reason why it is important to have a good school of herbalism is because herbs are still drugs. You need to be careful. You need to speak to an herbalist, whether you're getting supplements, doing crazy amounts of teas, or you want to manage an autoimmune disease or any other type of chronic illness, or even if you have an acute illness, cough, a cold, a fever, you can manage it. You just want to see an herbalist for something that's supportive and natural. We could do that for you as well. We are considered general practitioners in other parts of the world. I haven't much looked into it in the Philippines yet, but I will find out. In the UK, I am registered and I am regulated by the Association of Naturopathic Practitioners of the UK. That's why I have MANP after my name. But I'm hoping to become regulated under other bodies in the States. And that's like kind of my goal. So I'm working towards my 10,000 clinical hours for herbalism. Although if you are someone who wants to go into herbal medicine, it's not a requirement to have 10,000 clinical hours. It's just the top tier. So if you wanted to study herbal medicine and just get a soft degree or just a certificate, some herbalists get registered with much less hours for different tiers. So you could definitely look into that. I don't want to turn off anyone from trying to go into herbalism because it's a fantastic, fantastic area of study. So some of the common misconceptions that I get about being an herbalist or what an herbalist is, especially in the Philippines, is people automatically think I'm going to put them on some crazy detox. Like they can't eat food, there's gonna be so many restrictions, I don't wanna do it. But that's not what herbalism is. So another misconception with herbalism in the Philippines is the minute they hear I'm an herbalist, they think I'm a witch doctor. In Tagalog, it's called albulario. I can't say it properly, but there it is. I have a deep respect and regard for natural Filipino healers. They were actually recently recognized by the government as an art, Filipino art. The difference between me and an albulario, and that's a misconception I get all the time, Filipinos are very scared to come to me because they think I'm going to give them a concoction that they have no idea what's inside. And it's like there's some voodoo with that. I always tell people that Western herbalism and what I studied is not woo-woo. Nothing is ever a secret. I'm here to explain everything to you. So I really look at the dosage. I look at the clinical trials. I look at the contraindications, the supplements, and the teas that you are taking. And I try to work around that to make sure that we don't damage your body, we support it and we nourish it. So one of my goals is to open up a school here in the Philippines. We're actually working on it right now, a small herbal school where we will introduce Filipino native plants, Filipino native healing remedies and treatments, and we will look at them in a clinical way. We'll look at them in a more studied way so that we can lightly teach how you can use Filipino herbs in your home. And even if you walk down the street, you'll see plenty of Filipino natural herbs growing on the street and people have no idea that they're there. So some of the Filipino herbs that I recommend people to stock in their house. One is moringa, or as we call it, malunggay. Malunggay is an herb, other than being a botanical plant. Here in the Philippines, you could literally walk down the street and this superfood is growing abundantly everywhere. Other than that, we have culinary herbs like ginger. Filipinos love to drink ginger tea, which is called salabat tea. Let's just reduce our sugar content in the drink and it'll be perfect. You would be shocked that chamomile is actually a very expensive herb to import, but you can buy it much more affordable on the shelf in the malls or at your health food store. Chamomile tea is safe for children as young as 1 year old. If you're speaking with an herbalist, even younger than that, if they have gastrointestinal problems, I think it's really important to have this herb in the house at all times. It also works very well for adults as well. You could get peppermint and lavender. These herbs are very gentle and safe in almost any kind of dose, and they are likable to most people, even children. So yeah, and you can also put it in your bathtub, so why not? Herbalism has gone through years and years of suppression by allopathic doctors. And it was just because allopathic medicine was trying to find a rightful place for itself. And now it has established that rightful place. Our children now are gifted with knowledge, but now I think it's also time to bring back and find a good harmony between allopathic medicine and herbalism, because it is so interesting to see our generations now becoming so much more interested in alternative medicine, herbal medicine, and trusting it. I was a pole vaulter, I was a varsity cheerleader. We lived in a trailer park in New Jersey. Working at 11, a lot of people are like, "Aw," but to be honest, it was a gift my mom gave me. When I was crowned Miss Philippines Earth Air, it was really a shock to me. I grew up in New Jersey, and my father is actually Irish Italian, and my mother is Filipina. She's actually Kapampangan. She's from Tarlac province in the Philippines. It's really interesting that I decided to go into Western herbalism because Western herbalism has very strong roots in Ireland. My mom is a single mother of 7 kids, and most of us are girls. My mom came to the States to provide a better life for all of us. Didn't speak English well, not at all actually, and she had to work 3 jobs at a time just to keep food on the table, which was also another reason why she had a garden in the back, because it saved some money. But the thing with my mom is that she's a very positive person, which just kind of spilled onto me and my sisters. So growing up, we lived in a very small trailer, actually. We lived in a trailer park in New Jersey. And my mom was so proud of that trailer. You know, she came from the province in the Philippines with nothing, and she was able to buy this trailer. I think at the time it cost $10,000. And for my Filipino viewers, that's around 500,000 pesos. I mean, it's a really, really tiny, tiny space. It's tinier than the room I'm in right now. And this is my master bedroom now. My mom had lots of family in the Philippines, and my sister and I didn't really know our family in the Philippines, and we were being raised as American girls. At 11 years old, my mom told me that she found me a job. So one day I came home from school, and my mom was like, okay, you have a job. So now you have to go to this lottery shop. It was actually a lottery shop, a convenience store run by one of my mom's Indian friends, a very lovely, lovely family. And so they took me into their lottery shop at the age of 11. And I'm telling you, back, 20 years ago or so, this was perfectly fine. I mean, not legal still, but it was fine, like, to pay under the table. So I made $5 an hour working at a lottery shop convenience store. And then a few weeks later, my mom told me she got me a second job, because at that time, I could only work at the lottery shop from Monday to Friday. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I had full days, and I got a part-time job at a Filipino bakery store, whereas I learned my first words in Tagalog, like ilan po and Bacano? I don't even really know. I can't even remember. But that was like my first real immersion into Filipino culture, which was really not much. So I had 2 jobs at the age of 11, and I got to keep not very much of my salary, actually. My mom put me to work because we needed help to support our family in the Philippines. Not only that, we needed to pay for bills here in the States. Working at that age instilled a lot in me. I actually really enjoyed working. I love getting up. I love that hustle, I guess. Like, I love to have something on the to-do list. There's definitely days where I love to relax, but to me, relaxing is also a to-do, you know? I enjoy learning. I enjoy working. I enjoy manual labor a lot. I like to stock shelves. I like to do things like that. So working at 11, a lot of people are like, oh, but to be honest, it was a gift my mom gave me. By the time I was 16, I was a key holder at Forever 21, and I was working 3 jobs at that time. And then when I was in high school, I would bounce between 2 to 3 jobs throughout the year, depending on how much school I had. I was also part of a lot of extracurriculars. I was a pole vaulter. I was a varsity cheerleader. I ran varsity track and field and varsity cross country. I was on a national prestigious choir. I think I got good grades, but that's subjective. Or is it? I worked at places like Bed Bath & Beyond for 8 years, Red Lobster Cheesecake Factory. I was a waitress. At one point, I made $2 an hour and just relied heavily on tips and being good to people. Working throughout my high school years was really definitely what made me who I am today. So about 10 years ago, I came to the Philippines because I was asked to join Miss Philippines Earth, and I joined not really expecting to win because pageants are not my real thing. So when I was crowned Miss Philippines Earth Air, it was really a shock to me. And what was even more so a shock was that I had to stay in the Philippines and complete 1-year reign in a foreign country to me. I didn't speak Tagalog. I didn't understand Tagalog. And I know it's the country that I have ethnic roots in, but everything was just so completely foreign to me. I was so impressionable at the age of 19. But actually coming to the Philippines extended my interest in going into nutrition. Being a beauty queen kind of presented a lifestyle that was not so healthy. I was up late, going to late parties, waking up very early, having really a terrible diet, trying to keep a really small size. And I realized, this is not healthy and this is really not truly me, because I grew up with such a wholesome mother who really took the time to teach us to care for our bodies. So when I joined Miss Philippines, it was really the pageant that was kind of gifted to me, I think, by the universe. Every day was a 5 a.m. wake-up call. We had things called school tours where we would go to schools all around the Philippines and we would teach children about environmental awareness, street cleanups. We had to do cleanups in Manila Bay. Sometimes most of it wasn't that glamorous. I always tell people that in Miss Earth, we're probably in heels 10% of the time, but 90% of the time we're in sneakers and boots trying to get the work done. It was definitely the work I wanted to do, that I needed to do. We were really careful about our advocacies with the environment. Mine, for example, at that time, 10 years ago, even way before I launched my skincare brand, was to eat organic and to use organic as much as possible. So Miss Earth really influenced my journey throughout the next decade and up until present day today. It really kind of came full circle to me, kind of gave me that leap to go into nutrition. I decided to go to business school. I water birth to my children. How do I do it? How do I manage? It's not some secret. I'm not some super woman. Currently, I'm in herbal medicine school in the UK. I'm also at Pearson's Business School, also in the UK. The reason that I decided to go to business school, even though I own several businesses already, and I've been running businesses for about 7 years, is that I have finally found my passion to learn. And I'm saying this because I never went to a college like right after I graduated high school. Right after I graduated high school, I became a beauty queen and a model, and I was just doing that for a while before I decided, oh, maybe I should go to school. Probably it was about 5 years before I decided, I think I want to do nutrition. That's the thing with education, right? Like, we really need to know what we want before we start it. I'm an impulsive person, I'll say it. I like to just hop into things. But with education, it's just like, I was really so scared because I was like, can I do this? I'm not a very scholastic person. I'm not someone who likes to sit in a class. But when I found my passion and when I went to my first class in nutrition, I was really so floored that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I realized, I do have 7 businesses. Maybe I don't know very much about accounting properly or management styles, which was really a shock to me, actually. I was like, you know what, maybe I should try a business school. On top of that, it helped that my sister-in-law had just enrolled into the same school. And I was like, you know what, let me join you because we own a business together. And I want to know what you know. And not in the sense that we're competing, but in the sense that we can help each other grow. The passion keeps growing. As many of my followers already know, I water birthed 2 of my children, my daughters, Holiday, in a beautiful water birthing suite in St. Luke's BGC. And then I birthed the newest addition, Aurora, at home in a water birth setting as well. What it means to natural birth is really subjective, honestly, because everyone does it for different reasons. I did it because I had a terrible birth experience in a hospital with my son using an epidural. All births are beautiful. My son's birth was beautiful as well, although traumatic for my body physically. And I wanted to make it a little bit more magical for me. My mother is a home birther of 7 kids. Just knowing the strength of my mother just really gave me courage to do the same. There are many benefits to natural birthing if you like to go that route, but it's always good to talk to a general practitioner, your OB, and a doula and a midwife. Most times I get asked, how do I do it? How do I manage? It's not some secret. I'm not some super woman. I mean, when I look at my mom and what she went through, a single mother of 7 kids, working 3 jobs, trying to raise a family, trying to learn a language, and she was also going to school, making fresh home-cooked meals, I'm doing nothing in comparison to her. And I believe that every woman, every man can do everything that they want to do with proper time management and asking for help. So I think growing up in the States, one of the biggest things about being an American is our pride. We love to do it ourselves. Call a plumber? No, I can do it. Build a tree house? I can do that. It's a very American way of thinking. When I came to the Philippines and I had my first son, I did his first 3 years with no yaya. And it was doable, but it was also a time where I had most of my burnout. It wasn't until I had my second child that I realized I really needed help and I really needed to put these guards down and just ask for help. And so finally, we had our first nanny. We hired her for 1 week. And I was like, okay, just come for 1 week and then I can do all my work in 1 week and then you can leave. And then I remember on the 7th day, Ate Veronica, she's probably watching this, I remember I cried and I was like, please don't go, I need you forever. She ended up staying on with us for 2 years plus another year to take care of Aura. She's been with us to several countries within Southeast Asia. She traveled with me to the States and she was a big part of my success now. She was there when I started herbal medicine school and she was very supportive and she was like a second mother to me. You know, I have friends, foreigner expat friends here in the Philippines who refuse to get yayas and I totally respect that. But I do believe that having a yaya is no different than having a babysitter. It's no different than putting your child in daycare. It's no different than putting your child in a nursery school. It's perspective, right? The difference with a yaya is that this person is going to be so much involved in your family. It's going to be part of your family. Most of our yayas here in the Philippines live with us. They stay in. They usually don't go home every day. That's very, very rare in a Filipino house culture. And I mean, it's really scary to choose someone to live with you. It's just a little bit scary for some of my friends who refuse to get yayas, and I totally understand that. A lot of people are very private, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, when I finally got the first yaya, I was like, I looked at my husband and I said, we need 3 more, or at least 2 more. And now we have 2 more. But they're all lovely women. They all love working with us, for us, I hope. And we couldn't do the work without them and still be sane parents. I think people have this crazy notion that I run around doing everything. The last thing I want to do or anyone wants to do is run around like a chicken with their head off. Every single thing in my schedule is penned in. And I'm talking even time with my children is penned in. I tell this to moms who want to do everything or do it all, that you need to pen in your children also. It sounds harsh, but if you don't pen it in, you're never going to get to your children. So thank you all for watching. My name is Rene Rose and I am your local herbalist. I'm here to help you anytime you need herbal information or nutrition information. I'm also a mom, an entrepreneur, and you can read more about all of my writings and my lifestyle over at my blog, which is www.itsrenerose.com, where I write about things that I don't speak about on YouTube. And on my YouTube channel, I hope to bring you more herbal protocols, herbal elixirs, how-to for herbals, and a little bit more into my lifestyle. Let me know what you like in the comments below and I'll try to do it for you. Thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you learned a lot today and I hope I answered all of your questions.